Thank you very much. Oh, wow. You think we know by now?
No, we just kind of been walking around all the graves. No, I can't. How much more to be read? He's got you, hang on, because the I see Cheryl. She still says everything. I'll be back, you know.
truck? There's just the last year, the last one. Last year?
Do you want me to move it at all or leave it in the same position? Like the same location? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy Memorial Day, and welcome to the Town of Norwood's Memorial Day Ceremonies and Observances 2019. And welcome to beautiful Highland Cemetery. I've always said there's nothing prettier than this hallowed ground on a sunny spring morning with all the trees in blooming and the flowers. And it's just a very, very wonderful place, and we're very pleased that you are here. We'll start as we always do and ask Norwood High School Award Gold Medal Award-winning band to honor us by playing the Star Spangled Banner. Steve? Under the direction of Maestro Steve Conant, Norwood High School Marching Band. Thank you very much. This is a day of music and prayer and reflection and remembrance. And so to offer prayer from VFW Post 2452, their chaplain, Stephen Esco. Chap.
Uncover. Gracious sovereign God, Lord of all nations, on this Memorial Day, we pause to reflect upon our blessings as a nation and the high cost of those blessings for many. Thank you for the freedom we enjoy in this country, for opportunities to flourish, and for the security of our land. Thank you for those who have served in the armed services of our country, risking their lives for our liberty. Thank you for those who have given their lives in service to our country, sacrificing in such a costly way for the sake of others. Thank you for a day set apart, not just for celebration, but also for solemn remembrances as we consider the sacrifices of so many in our military. Oh Lord, may we be more aware of just how blessed we are as a nation. May we be more grateful for our blessings, more faithful in stewarding them well, more eager to share them with others. Cover.
Chaplain. Thank you. Thank you, Chaplain Steve. Reflection, remembrance, tradition. Ceremonies today. One of our oldest traditions and one of the best, I feel, is the reading of the Gettysburg Address. Each year, Norwood High School senior is chosen for this high honor, And this year we are graced with the presence of a wonderful young lady. Her name is Sarah Mohedan. Would you please welcome her to the stage for the recitation of the Gettysburg Address. Sarah? All yours.
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But, in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. It is all we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth.
Good job, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah Mohedan, class of 2019. Sarah's going to pursue her studies and continue her education at Boston College. Go Eagles. Representing the Honorable Board of Selectmen is its chair. We ask him to join us at the podium for remarks. The Honorable Paul A. Bishop, Chairman.
Thank you, Ted. Good morning, everyone. You know, when I knew I was going to speak here this morning, I researched to find exactly the right words to talk about Memorial Day, because Memorial Day is a very special day. It's not about sales, it's about remembrance. So I found this letter online written by a United States Naval SEAL who was he was in the location where bin Laden was shot and killed that evening. And he wrote this letter to the American public about his thoughts of Memorial Day. And if I may, there is nothing happy about the loss of brave men and women who gave up their own lives to protect the lives and freedoms of all of us, including the freedoms of generations long gone and generations yet unborn. We owe the fallen a debt so enormous that it can never be repaid. Memorial Day is a time to honor the lives of those who would rather die than take a knee when the national anthem is played. But they will fight and die for the rights of those who do kneel. This holiday is a time to think of young lives cut short, of wives and husbands turned into widows and widowers, of children growing up without a father or a mother, of parents burying their children. Memorial Day is a time to think of what might have been and never was, of brave Americans who put their country before themselves. Without these heroes, America would not be America. Unfortunately, for many Americans, this solemn holiday might well be called Summer Day, marking the unofficial start of the season of barbecues, days at the beach, time spent on baseball fields and golf courses, hiking and enjoying the great outdoors. All of these things are great. We appreciate all of them, and some of them are the best things in life. But Memorial Day is not Summer Day, nor was the holiday created as a way to promote the sale of cars, furniture, and clothing, etc. Another Memorial Day brings with us a whole lot more than the start of summer. Since last Memorial Day, the grass is now growing above the final resting places of many of our young men and women whose lives were taken too soon while defending our country in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and other far-off places many Americans have rarely heard of. When Army Sergeant David Johnson, Staff Sergeant Brian Black, Sergeant First Class Jeremiah Johnson, and Staff Sergeant Dustin Wright were killed in an ISIS ambush in Niger, many people asked in this country, where is Niger? And why are we in Niger? Many Americans asked. We have lost troops in Niger, and they don't know why. These unknown soldiers lost their lives protecting you and everyone hearing these words today. Think about this. Millions of high school seniors are walking across auditorium stages this season, receiving their diplomas. Most will go on to college or for jobs, but some will choose a career of military service, joining the second generation of American warriors fighting the global war on terror, a war that began with the September 11, 2001 terror attacks that took the lives of almost 3,000 people in our homeland. Most of these new recruits, who were not even born or who were just infants when the 9/11 attacks took place, will make it home just fine. But sadly, some will not. I pray that I am wrong, but the sad truth is the number of American war dead on Memorial Day 2020 will be higher than it is this Memorial Day. On Memorial Day, I salute my brothers and sisters in arms who have served in the war on terror. My heart especially goes out to the family of those who did not return home. In fact, I think about all those who served and those who have given their lives fighting for America from our country's earliest days in the Revolutionary War. They all have our gratitude. We think we are strong, but in war, any one of us can be gone in an instant and just become a memory. And war seems to have been the universal experience of just about every society on the planet at one time or another, for as long as there have been human societies. So how do we stop wars resulting in such tragic waste of lives? How do we count the number of American war dead and the dead in other nations from growing? I wish I knew the answer, but battle lines have been drawn and redrawn. Wars and terrorist attacks just keep going on and on. Weapons are getting bigger and bigger. Bombs are becoming smarter, and more lives are being lost every day all over the world, leading to more death, more anger, and more war. Some are so loyal to their cause that they will strap bombs to their bodies and fly into buildings in jets. They will conduct beheadings. They will set prisoners on fire. How do we find common ground with them? Or do we even try to find common ground? Or do we finally take the gloves off and start landing some punches of our own? There is never going to be a shortage of war. War spreads faster than fire, and like fire, leaves destruction in its path. It hurts my heart as an American every time I see another service member's body being brought home draped in an American flag. But it hurts my heart as a human being with every act of war that we are unleashing on each other across the world. This Memorial Day, I urge all of you to remember the fallen soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard members who have so bravely served our country, as well as their families. And I urge all of you to join me in the hope and prayer that somehow, someday, people around the world will focus more on our similarities than our differences. And we will move closer to a time when war is just a memory, part of our past, but not part of our future. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Bishop. This time I'd like to ask the Colonial Pipers to give us a song honoring the memory of Father Francis Crowley. Colonial Pipers. Jade, I'm going to have you come up now. Go a little bit out of order. Annually, Governor Baker issues a proclamation, and this is the proclamation here. This will be on display at in Memorial Hall at Norwood Town Hall, signed by the Governor and Lieutenant Governor. And to tell us a little bit about Governor Baker's program, I'd like to ask Jade Perry to join us at the podium. She's representing the Governor and is his ambassador today. Jade Perry.
The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, our proclamation. Whereas while the nation was still recovering from the horrors of the Civil War, people in cities and towns across the country gathered to honor those Union and Confederate soldiers who had given their lives, celebrating the first Declaration Day. And whereas after World War I, the nation came together again to honor those who had fallen in service of their country. Renamed Memorial Day, the last Monday in May, is when people remember and honor the memory of all the men and women who fought and died in all American wars and conflicts. And whereas throughout our country's history, thousands of Massachusetts citizens have fought in wars and conflict to defend our safety and way of life. And whereas their legacy of patriotism and dedication to their country is an inspiration to all Americans. And whereas it is appropriate that all Massachusetts citizens remember the bravery of those who gave their lives, so that their sacrifices serve as a reminder of the cost of our freedom. Now, therefore, I, Charles D. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim May 27, 2019 to be Memorial Day, and urge all citizens of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given at the Executive Chamber branch in Boston on the first day of May in the year 2019, and the independence of the United States of America, the 242nd. By His Excellency, Charles C. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth, Karen Polito, Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth, William Francis Galvin, Secretary of the Commonwealth. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Jade Perry. My friends and family, this day is sacred with the almost visible presence of those who have gone before us. We honor the memory of those who gave their lives in the service of our country, and of those others who have dropped their burdens by the wayside of life and are gone to their eternal rest. May these ceremonies today deepen your reverence for our past. Let us renew our pledge of loyalty to our country and its flag. Let us resolve by word and deed to emphasize the privilege and duty of patriotism. Again, our nation is assembled to honor its heroic dead. 1,000 battles of land and sea and air echo the glory of their valiant deeds. Under the quiet sod or beneath the murmuring waves, their bodies sleep in peace. But in the destinies of men, their soul goes marching on. Because of them, our lives are free. Because of them, our nation lives. They fought for us they fell. Now, with one accord and in deepest reverence, we do them honor. Let us not remember them in anguish. They would not wish our pity. For their sakes also, let us not forget the loved ones left behind. Our tears or words of sympathy cannot bring back the comfort of those loving hands or the music of those voices stilled. Only the solemn pride of having given more than all the rest is theirs who live to weep. But all the world, because of what they gave, is debtor to us. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 5th of May of this year, the town of Norwood lost an American hero. If you look at the front page of our program today, you'll see these ceremonies and observances are dedicated to Sergeant First Class John F. McCarthy, United States Army. We are joined today by his family, the Smith, the Hall, and the McCarthy family. Would you recognize them, please? Just a couple of words on Sergeant McCarthy's service. Senior Aviation Badge, Air Medal, Army Commendation Medal, 2nd Award, Army Achievement Medal, Army Good Conduct Medal, 2nd Award, National Defense Service Medal, 2nd Award, Afghanistan Campaign Medal with 2 Campaign Battle Stars, Southwest Asia Service Medal with 3 Bronze battle stars. Served in designated imminent danger area service in Afghanistan, 2011 to 2012. Clearly you can tell from this record, he was a man of great honor and integrity. He loved his country, he loved his army, he served both with pride and distinction. We are honored to have his family join us today, and we dedicate these ceremonies to the memory of Sergeant First Class John Arthur McCarthy. Colonial Boys, over 60 years of excellence. Would you honor us with a song? Colonial Boys. Again, we'd like to ask to the podium representing the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post and recognize Carl Rossi, the commander, and our parade marshal today, Chaplain Steve Esco, to offer prayer. Chaplain.
Uncover. May the fallen walk eternally in sunshine, and the Lord's sweet love around them ever flow. For the duty and commitment that they showed us, only we, U.S. Marines, will ever know. It broke our hearts indeed the day we lost them, but we know that they did not go all alone. A part of all of us was there beside them the day God called these Marines back home. Cover.
Thank you, Chaplain Esco. A little bit about the meaning of Memorial Day. As mentioned earlier, is it the unofficial beginning of summer? Sure it is. But it's about remembering the brave men and women who sacrificed their lives so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we do today as Americans. And there are many stories about the origin of Memorial Day. We have General Logan's famous Orders Number 11, calling for the decoration of graves with flowers and garlands. But the story that I like is there was a small town in one of the southern states, and the women were decorating the graves of the Confederate fallen with flowers and wreaths. And off in the corner of the cemetery was an area that had been set aside for Union soldiers who had died in battle. And the women amongst themselves said, well, who will honor them as they rest so far away from family and friends and home? And they decided amongst themselves that they would honor them. And so they did by placing wreaths and flowers on the graves of their former enemies. And out of this simple act of compassion and kindness grew the observances that we see today, formerly known as Decoration Day, and that we now call Memorial Day. And that's my favorite story. I think that's really says it all. Colonial Pipers, would you offer us a song, please? Pipers. Colonial Pipers. Thank you, Pipers. I'd be remiss if I did not recognize our dignitaries today. I mentioned Carl Rossi, the Commander and Parade Marshal of the VFW, the American Legion Post. We'd like to remember the fond memory of our past chaplain, James Despinoza, who was with us for many, many years on this program. And also recognize Kerry Harkins, the Commander of the Disabled American Veterans, and of course, Commandant James P. Shannon of the Marine Corps League. Thank you, Commandant, for your presence and your Marines. I feel much safer that the Marine Corps is here. Decoration of the graves. Prior to that, we'd love to hear from our award-winning 60 Years of Excellence Colonial Boys. Boys, would you give us a song? Thank you, lads. Friends, to my left and your right is a very special piece of hallowed ground. Behind the Colonial Boys, behind that flagpole, is the Veterans section. And as you walk by today, you can see the wonderful job of decorating those graves. And it was done graciously, all volunteer work by the Norwood Lodge of Elks, number 1124. And their exalted ruler is Tim O'Connell. And Bobby Burke and his volunteer crew do a fantastic job of decorating those graves for us every year. So thanks to Bobby Burke and his crew and the Elks. Thank you very much, guys. It's beautiful. Obviously, an event like this requires an awful lot of assistance to this office, and I would like to thank, starting with those who are serving today on active duty. Brave men and women are in harm's way as we speak, and we ask for your prayers to bring them home safely to their family. And also my fellow veterans today and those that we have lost over the course of the last year, we honor their memory as well. All of the bands, the Colonial Pipers, the award-winning Norwood High School Marching Band, the Colonial Boys. Let's hear it for our music. Thank you all. Sarah Mohedin for the wonderful job of the Gettysburg Address. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very, very much. And Jade Perry, our ambassador representing the governor's office. Jade, thank you for joining us again this year. Thank you very much. All the elected officials who are here today, our Board of Selectmen, Selectman Hajar, Plasko, Bishop, Maloney, and Howard, Alan Howard. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your support of our mission throughout the year. We appreciate it. Thank you, sir. And our parade units, American Legion Post number 70, our DAV Chapter 90, the Norfolk County Detachment of the Marine Corps League 136, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 2452 and their auxiliary. Thank you all very much, veterans, service organizations, for your participation today. Thank you all. Our special thanks to the General Manager, Tony Bazzucco, Assistant Manager Bernie Cooper, and the office staff. I'd like to recognize Senior Building Management Specialist Pat Langen, Recreation Director Travis Farley, our Special Sound Engineer Dave Zolla, and thank you for everybody who assisted our office in the mission of making today a success. Thank you all very, very much. Very, very special thanks to past Superintendent Joe Welch, current Superintendent and Town Engineer Mark Ryan, the Department of Public Works and his crew, Mike Driscoll, Kevin Carr, Cemetery General Foreman Paul Rinaldi, Charles Walsh, and his crew. A great job by the crew. Is this not the most beautiful cemetery in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts? I think so. All of our scouts and their leaders. Special shout out to Janine Needham, my second in command, and all the scouts. The scouts were largely responsible for placing 5,000 flags on the graves of our veterans on Saturday. So thank you, scouts. Thank you, leaders. Most importantly, you are raising our future, and we appreciate what you do. Thank you, scouts. Thank you, leaders. Police and fire honor guards, spectacular as always, leading us in our route of march. Thank you, police. Thank you, fire honor guards. And of course, special thanks to Chief Brooks and Chief Maurice for allowing the units to participate today. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a man who did this job for 27 years before me, George Tiger Thomas, helped thousands upon thousands of veterans, and whose career I model my own career after his compassion and his caring for his brother veterans. Also, Tommy Collins, directly responsible for our corner memorial program, 57 corners around town with the names of those fallen in battle, erected close to the homes where they grew up. And again, thanks to the board for their continued support of that mission. And Iraq veteran and disabled veteran Jack Carney was responsible for maintaining those poles over the course of the year, paints the poles, paints the flag holders, replaces all those American flags, and does a wonderful job. Thank you, Jack Carney. Gold Star families are among us today. We mentioned the McCarthy family, the Hall Smith family, the Donahue family, the Murphy family, the Burke family, the Sansone family, our Redondo family, the Benson family, the Kilkus family, the Welch family. We honor their service by our observances today. And you family members, you Gold Star family members, honor us with your presence. You have given us your best, and we thank you for that. A more recent tradition has started, along with other Americans, to observe the national moment of remembrance on Memorial Day today at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. was chosen because it's a time when many Americans are enjoying their freedoms on the national holiday, and it's intended to be a unifying act of remembrance for Americans of all ages. As you participate in the moment, You're helping reclaim Memorial Day for the noble and sacred reason for which it was intended, to honor those who died in service to our nation. So at 3 o'clock, we ask you kindly, just pause for a moment, remember what this day means. Now, Father Donahoe, pastor of St. Catherine's Church, United States Navy veteran, Iraq veteran, Lieutenant Commander, United States Navy Reserve, would you join us for benediction, sir? And then we'll ask the high school band to close us out. Yes. Oh my God.
Eternal Father, we thank you for the lives of those patriots whose bodies lie in the graves of so many across this nation and across the world this day. We thank you for their lives and commend their souls to your divine love. Eternal rest grant unto them, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon them. May they rest in peace. Amen. May their souls and the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen.
The Navy's well represented today. Also joining us is another Lieutenant Commander of the United States Navy Reserve, our State Senator, Michael Rush. Commander, sir. Maestro Steve, would you round out our ceremonies today by giving us a song to end the ceremonies? Ladies and gentlemen, words and music on the back page of your program. Before we have the national anthem, let's remember our fallen by the rendition of Taps. Order. Huh. Thank you, Maestro. Norwood High Marching Band. Steve Coney, Norwood High School Gold Medal Award-winning band. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony for today. Thank you all for your kind attendance and attention. Once again, I think we've demonstrated to all of our friends and neighbors across the Commonwealth, we are the best at what we do. We're at the best at honoring our fallen heroes. We're at the best at paying our respects where respect was earned. So God bless you all. God bless the town of Norwood. God bless the United States of America. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you.